All right. Thank you for joining today's class, Aiden, for our reading and writing. I think normally we do have another student. We normally have Emma that joins us, but we'll begin class either way. Maybe she'll join later. But let's cover our agenda for the time being. So we're going to start off as we've been doing for the past couple weeks. We're going to do another quote of the day. This one's more like a proverb. So it's not really a quote, but kind of like a lesson. So it's kind of teaching you something. So we're going to try to see if we can figure out the meaning of it, and then we'll ask a personal question about it, and then we'll move on to our character lesson plan. So let's check this out. Let's look at our proverb or quote. But I want you to read this quote for me, Aiden. Aiden, can you read this quote for me, please?
The tallest oak in the forest was once just a little acorn.
All right, perfect. So the tallest oak in the forest was once just a little acorn. So, based on this quote, I want you to answer the question on the right. It says, what lesson is this proverb trying to teach us? So we can say proverb or we can say quote, but what lesson is this trying to teach us? So, most important thing here, Aiden, try to get at least 3 sentences here, okay? So we're trying to practice writing longer answers, full sentence answers, and this is a great way to practice. So take your time, submit your answer. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Emma joined.
All right. So Emma, we have a little task on the screen right now. So we have our quote on the screen, and the question is basically saying, what lesson is this quote trying to teach us? So normally we're understanding the meaning of a quote. This time the quote is teaching us a lesson. So I want you to write down at least 3 sentences explaining what you think the quote is trying to teach us. If you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Uh, can I write 3 sentences?
Yep, if your answer is 3 sentences long, that's great. That fits our limit. No problem.
Okay. Is this an answer?
It is an answer, yes, but if you can make it a little longer, if you can get 3 sentences, that'll be better. So let's not take too long on this. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes to wrap up your answers, and we'll move on.
Mm. Um,
All right, so let's check out our answers here. If another answer
okay.
comes in, please submit. All right, so Aiden, can you read your answer, please?
The tallest oak in that forest was once a little acorn. Once we were also little kids, and we also grow. The more we eat, the more we grow.
All right, so the tallest oak in the forest was once a little acorn. I believe that's just the quote. Yeah, so that's word for word exactly the quote. So if you're going to copy quotes, you need to put quotation marks, or else that is against the rules. That's called plagiarism. So let's put quotes here, and let's also say some introduction about it. So we can say the quote says
Oh,
the tallest oak,
oh.
and let's put a comma, sorry, not comma, quotation here as well. Uh, then we can add some extra phrasing here. We can say this is referring to how we can take out the word once. So this is referring to how we were also little kids, and we also grow. We were also little kids, uh, once upon a time, once upon a time, and we can say we grew up. And we can cross this out. All right. The more we eat, the more we grow. So this is
Oh,
technically true, but it's not relevant to our quote. It doesn't. That's not what the lesson is. The lesson is not telling you to eat more.
I
Uh,
don't know why I like wrote Oni.
you don't know what
I don't know why I wrote like Oni.
oni. What do you mean oni?
Yeah, like you
Once?
crossed out. This is referring to how Oni.
You mean once? This word is once, but it's crossed out, so it looks like oni, but it's a C. You wrote down once.
Oh,
Anyway,
I thought
that
I
word
wrote
is correct.
E.
Yeah, you spelled it correct, but it's just the phrasing is probably not the most natural phrasing. When we add a phrase like this, it connects the first sentence with the second sentence, and it sounds a lot more smoother. If we just jump into one sentence and another sentence randomly, it it doesn't sound that smooth. It's a little hard to read. It's a little awkward to read. Now it sounds a little bit smooth. So, anyway, moving on. Try to, whoops, let's make this not crossed out. Try to add more details about the lesson that this quote is trying to tell us. So that's the main goal of this exercise. We want to figure out the lesson. So try to teach that lesson to us. Try to explain that lesson to us. Let's make this a little bigger, get some space. All right. Emma, can you read your answer, please?
The tallest gold tree in the forest was just a little acorn. Means when you think this thing is good, maybe it is not that good.
Okay, so I can see where we're coming from here. Like things are not what they seem. Um, so again, when we're using the quote, you have to use quotation marks. And if you don't use quotation marks, that is technically illegal. You cannot do that. It's called plagiarizing. You're not allowed to do that. So you got to use the quotation marks around the quote. So, the tallest oak tree in the forest was just a little acorn means when you think this thing is good, maybe it is not that good. So, I can't really change too much of your answer, but overall, same thing here. Oops. It's the same thing. Try to add more details about the lesson that this quote is trying to tell us. And also be a lot more specific. So I don't know anything about what you're saying. I don't know what you mean about this thing is good. Maybe it's not good. I don't know what you were talking about. I don't know what you're referring to. So try to add some detail and try to explain it a little bit better next time. So let's do our second activity here. This is your personal reflection part of things. The question says, how does this saying or how does this quote connect to something you've learned or practiced in your own life? So basically, relate this quote to your own life. So have you um, have you experienced yourself grow in any ways? So answer these two questions. This will help you out a little bit more. So I'm going to give you guys another like 5-10 minutes. If I don't see any answers during that time, I will have to move on. But try your best to submit an answer in roughly 10 minutes. If you have any questions, you can let me know. All right, so we are pretty close to 10 minutes now. I don't see any answers yet. I'm gonna give it another minute and we'll take it up. Whatever you have written so far, I'd like you to just hit submit so we can take up whatever you have. Even if it's not finished, that's okay. I want to see some kind of answer. So try your best to finish up in a minute or just hit submit right now and we'll go from there.
Um, I think I accidentally like I think I have to do my sentence all again.
Did you delete your answer? If you deleted your answer, you can press Control Z to undo and everything just goes back to normal.
No, like I pressed the X button.
Yeah, if you press undo, it goes back to normal.
I see. Like I pressed the X button. Like when you go to chat, there's an X button, and I accidentally pressed it.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, because we're running out of time, if you'd like, you can just tell me your answer and I'll type it on the screen. So you can
Okay.
start right now. Aiden, whenever you're ready, you can just start talking out your answer out loud and I'll type it for you.
When when I was
You're gonna have to speak a little louder. So when I was
a kid,
when I was an infant,
I was like 5 years old, and when I turned 6, I noticed that I grew taller,
so
and
when I
that's
was
when I
5 years old, I
experienced.
noticed that I grew taller.
Yeah, and that's when I experienced a growth. Okay.
All right, that's a good answer. This is a pretty good answer right here. So when I was an infant, I was 5 years old. I noticed that I grew taller, and that's when I experienced growth in my life. So this is a great way to start your sentence, to establish a time frame. And then I was 5 years old. We can say when I was an infant, to be precise, um, I was 5 years old, comma. So we can add this phrase right here. I noticed that I grew taller, and that's when I experienced growth in my life. Okay, so that's good. Now, when we're referring it back to the quote doesn't always just mean growing in size. It can mean any kind of growth. So it can even mean when you are maybe struggling with a type of skill or type of education level. Maybe you struggled to read, a full book from start to finish in a short time. But as you kept practicing and as you kept doing it more and more often, you were able to just read right through a book in a couple days. So that's also growth. That's another way to show growth as well. So it doesn't have to be about size. It can be about your skill or your hobby. So this is good. This is a good answer right here. Emma, can you read your answer for me, please?
I practice swimming a lot and I'm better and better. When I want to swim, maybe I could go somewhere else so I could keep swimming.
All right, this is also good. So this is now talking about a skill that you are improving in. So I practice swimming a lot and I'm better and better. When I want to swim, maybe I could go somewhere so I could keep swimming. So we can add a few words here to make it make sense. So I practice swimming a lot and I noticed that I am getting better and better. So let's cross this out and let's make this red. That I'm getting better and better. Okay, that looks good. When I want to swim, maybe I could go somewhere. So this can be capitalized. When I want to swim, comma. We can take out maybe. We could say, when I want to swim, I could go somewhere else so I can keep swimming. I could go somewhere else to continue practicing swimming. We can, whoops, cross this out and this one as well. Okay, solid. Really good answer, you guys. Well done. Just try to submit these answers a little sooner next time. So let's move on to our next topic, our character topic. We've done a couple exercises so far, and we started this exercise, but we haven't finished it. So basically, it's one paragraph about a couple characters, and we answered one question so far, but I want to do a few more questions. So to refresh, let's read this paragraph again. Emma, can you read this paragraph, please?
Mia has been asking for a dog for months. I'll take care of him every day, she promised. Finally, her parents surprised her with a small brown puppy named Max. At first, Mia played with him every afternoon and made sure his water bowl was always full. But soon she started spending more time on her tablet and forgot to walk Max. Her mom reminded her once, then twice. One day Max threw up her shoes because he hadn't been out all day. Mia cried, not because of the shoes, but because she realized Max needed her. That night, she set an alarm to wake him every morning before school.
All right. Excellent job. Thank you for reading. So let's see if we can answer a couple questions. We already did the first one about what kind of person is Mia at the beginning of the story. Let's highlight something else. Let's do the next question. Now we're going to understand, how does she change by the end? So what caused her to change? So now we're going to compare Mia at the beginning of the story and Mia at the end of the story. And I want you to focus on what is she like at the end and what caused her to change. So answer in full sentences. Let me put this question at the bottom here. Whoops. All right. So the question's on the bottom, the story is on the screen. Answer in full sentences, at least 2 sentences, and we'll take it up whenever we're ready. All right, so the only answer I see here is not a complete answer, so please change your answer. And I'll give you another minute to submit your new answer. This question shouldn't take this long. All right, excellent. So I got a couple answers here. All right, Aiden, can you read your answer, please? Aiden.
Mine is not like a complete one, so.
Yep. So read your answer, please.
The dog.
All right. So you know it's not a complete answer. It's not a full sentence. So not a full sentence. Incomplete answer. So if you want to make it a complete answer, you can say something like, what was the question? How did she change? So how does she change by the end? So Mia, so let's say by the end of the story, Mia was more ... This was because I don't know. This was because of the dog being in her life. Something like this. This is not a perfect answer, but this is definitely closer to a better answer than your answer. So please, when I say full sentences, I mean have a clear, concise thought. Don't just say two words. If you said this to a random person right now, they have no clue what you're talking about. You have to put a lot more detail into your sentence to make it very clear and easy to understand. So let's move on. Emma, can you read your answer, please?
Mia changed because her dog Max started chewing on her shoes, so that night she sent an alarm to wake Max every morning before school.
All right, so this is really well done. So this is, first of all, a full sentence. And you provided information about what made her change. So this part about Max chewing up her shoes, that was the last straw that made her change. So Mia changed because her dog, Max, so when we're introducing our character's name, let's put commas around their name. Her dog, Max, started chewing her shoes. And then this could be a one sentence. And then this could be another sentence. So, comma, that night, another comma. She set an alarm to walk Max every morning before school. Very well done. So this shows how she changed and why she changed, but also let's add some detail about her personality. What about her personality changed? So we can say, therefore, Mia became more responsible and caring. All right, so this is an ideal perfect answer right here. Add a little bit more detail and you'd get there, but this answer that you submitted, Emma, was very strong. Nicely done. Let's do a couple more. Let's do question number 3. Let's get rid of this. All right. Number 3. What trait does Mia show when she sets an alarm? Actually, no. This we already answered. Let's do number 4. Number 4, find 2 sentences from the passage that show Mia being irresponsible. So Mia not being responsible, find 2 sentences from the passage to show that. So the passage is on the screen, the question's on the screen. If you have any questions for me, please let me know. All right, let's get our answers submitted as soon as possible so we can fit one more question in here. So let's try to submit this answer within the next minute. You're just finding 2 sentences from the passage that show that she's being irresponsible. So So you don't really have to write your own words. You can just take exactly whatever sentence is shown on the screen and put it in your answer. All right, nicely done. I got one answer here. Let's put this on another page. All right, Aiden, can you read your answer for us, please? Aiden, whenever you're ready, can you read your answer, please?
She started spending more time on her tablet and forgot to walk Max. Her mom reminded her once, then twice. One day Max chewed up her shoes.
All right, excellent. So this is absolutely correct. This is a great example of her being irresponsible. She was spending more time on her tablet, didn't walk Max, and her mom reminded her once, then twice, so she has to be told multiple times. That's another good one. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think you're good. I think these answers are perfect. No corrections here. Very well done. I don't see another answer here, so I'm going to move on. We only have a couple more minutes, so let's try to do the last question quickly. But here's the last one. Do you think Max helped Mia become a better person? Why or why not? So do you think Max helped Mia become a better person? Why or why not? And the questions on the screen, passages on the screen. Yeah. If you have any questions for me, let me know, but try to submit this as soon as possible. All right, we only have a minute left, so if you can type up your answer and submit it as soon as possible, that would be great. Let's try to submit our answer as soon as possible. Or you can just hit submit right now. All right, so I don't see any answers. That's it for today's class then. We don't have time for any more exercises. We'll continue this for next week. Take care, guys.